dawn of time, humans have changed the way they lived in order to make their lives easier and more efficient. However, minds slowly shifted to also wanting to make the most money possible. Urbanization and gentrification are ways that fulfill the ideals of efficiency and money making. So today we will be going over the history of urbanization, the current effects of urbanization and gentrification on society, and their effects on the environment in the United States. I did quite a bit of research on these topics in order to be able to give you the facts as they are. So hopefully by the end of my speech, you will have more information on urbanization and gentrification to do with whatever you will. Before we get into the current effects on the United States, let's talk a little bit about the history of urbanization. According to Vance Kite in his TED Talk, Urbanization and the Future of Cities, urbanization started because of industrialization. Industrialization created a lot of jobs in the United States, which meant people needed to move closer to those jobs. With so many people living in these areas, it created cities and the divide between urban and rural areas. Back in 1970, about 74% of the US population lived in these urban areas, and the percentage steadily grew to be about 83% in 2020, as stated by Aaron O'Neill in his article Urbanization in the United States 1970 to 2020. However, the population in the United States in 2020 was way over 300 million people. So you can imagine how many people really lived in these urban areas. With so many people living in these urban areas, urbanization and gentrification have both positive and negative effects on society. On the plus side, urbanization creates a lot of jobs, which keeps the economy growing. And gentrification allows the middle and upper classes to continue to raise their income. However, on the not so plus side, in urbanized areas, millions of people die due to violence, car accidents, and pollution. As Robert McGaugh mentioned in his TED Talk, The Biggest Risks Facing Cities. Along with that, gentrification causes many families to go without homes because they cannot afford the new prices that come along with the new buildings. Yet again, because so many people live in these areas, urbanization and gentrification have a lot of negative impacts on our environment. In order to gentrify areas, it requires a lot of equipment, which include vehicles. These vehicles create carbon emissions that do not mix well with our environment. For example, pollution is not very welcomed by humans and plants. However, gentrification is not the only cause of pollution. Urbanization causes a lot of pollution as well, because in these urbanized areas, cars were created as a way to efficiently get around these cities. However, it did create a lot of pollution. According to Kathleen Cohen, many people actually try to decrease their carbon footprint by taking more public transportation like buses or subways, but it isn't actually doing that much for the country's overall footprint. I believe that's all the information I have for you, so we'll move on to the conclusion. Urbanization and gentrification are ways to fulfill the ideals of efficiency and money making. So today we went over the history of urbanization, the current effects of urbanization and gentrification on society, and their effects on the environment in the United States. Now, that might not have been the most uplifting presentation, but it is actually very important information that you do need to know for life. So I hope that you will use it wisely. Thank you. This is my works cited. Stuff it.